Welcome to episode 4 of our Versus series, Men versus Women. You heard that right. We will be looking at what today's world has to say about men and women. Let's see whether or not I actually agree with any of it. You see, the problem is there's plenty of single mothers and single fathers out there who have unfortunately, they tried their best. But it's no guarantee that the children will grow up as they should with a mother and father. You know, it's an unfortunate reality. However, it does have its detrimental effects because nowadays we have out of control teenagers, out of control adults, young adults and older adults already alike as the generations proceed. And this is the reason why. It all starts with the mentality. Men versus women, this versus that, the differences. It's exhausting, it's pathetic. It's anti-human behavior. It's all about the verses. So I'm here to tell you that this is not natural behavior. That we have to take a deep look into it. We have to see what's really going on here. What's the real problem here? Because this is why people aren't crazy about love anymore. Seriously? That's how weak you are? You're going to give up on the world's most powerful force to be felt? And that was meant to be preserved for the rest of humanity, the future generations to enjoy and to prosper from? And this is exactly why we have the world we have today. A world of chaos, order out of chaos for those in power. That's why we're all easy to control, aren't we? Living in the matrix system, because we allow these things to infect our minds and our spirit, our emotions. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. I'll tell you all about it, shall we? All right. Let's start with what they say, as always. Right. Traditional gender roles, in my humble opinion, contain plenty of responsibilities that both partners need to participate in, regardless of who's the male or female in the relationship. So let's see what they say. Traditional gender roles refer to the societal expectations associated with being male or female. Yeah, naturally. These roles often dictate opportunities and responsibilities deemed appropriate for each gender. We'll go over that. Over time and across cultures, cultivating humans, culture. These roles can evolve and vary, sometimes for the worst. In modern Western culture, they're increasingly seen as archaic. Domestic responsibilities traditionally, for example, women were expected to handle household chores and caregiving duties. But that's what a mother does. In a relationship, if you have kids, household chores and caregivers, and the man, the black and white days. What was so wrong about that? The man goes out to work. The woman stays at home. Somebody's got to take care of the kids. You see, because with this dual working scenario, nobody's at home taking care of the kids. The kids grew up spoiled, rotten, and how are they supposed to grow up being grateful, honorable future adults, these kids? If you toss them into daycare centers and then, babysitters, they barely even know their parents. So how are they going to respect their parents if nobody's there? I grew up with a stay-at-home mother. I learned how to respect my mother. And when my father came home, I learned how to respect him too, because my mother taught me to. It's a very powerful thing to have. Now imagine not having that. Imagine not having that. So I don't even care who my mother and father are, because when you're a little kid, then you're not going to appreciate what they're doing for you. You're not going to appreciate it. And that's exactly why we have ungrateful bastards out there. These days, today, right now, today. They don't know how to be grateful. They're not disciplined. There's no sense of honor. They're a bunch of jokers out there. This all stems from family issues. Either they grew up without a parent, a father or a mother. Single parenting, right? And that's exactly why, because they didn't, I mean, it's inevitable. They didn't learn how to mature by themselves. Because if there's no father trying to discipline and teach their child morals and strength and intelligence, wisdom, or if there's no mother to teach them how to love and be affectionate and empathetic and caring and understanding, or none of it. See, there's a role of both the father and mother. This goes so much deeper than that. And these are natural roles that everybody should accept. There's nothing wrong with it. Nobody's getting hurt here. Some things women are better at than men, and some things men are better at than women, but how much better? It's not necessarily better. It's just more fitting. But then, once we start complaining about that, then we lose the natural nuclear family, as they say. And now it just becomes chaos. Everybody doesn't want to play their roles anymore. So now we have boys acting like girls and girls acting like boys and men acting like women and women acting like men. Is that the type of world you think the future generations are going to look back and say, wow, that was a lot of great work you guys did, No, we have to restore humanity because it's all been messed up. In such a short period of time, this whole industrial revolution, now we're going to go into the third one? I don't even know. The fourth one? I don't even know which one we're on. So all this chaos is really destroying humanity itself, because once we abandon our roles, and it's only temporary roles we're talking about, in order to make a team function. A family is a team. It's supposed to be an honorable team. But we have abusive parents, and now we have child-to-parent abuse. Chaos, people, chaos. So take these roles lightly, please. And for anybody who says, I don't need a man in my life, I don't need a woman in my life, you're garbage. You need to fix that. I don't want to call you garbage. But if you think living alone is the best life, you are severely mistaken. And you're going to learn the hard way. And I'm not going to be there to tell you I told you so. I'm not going to hold my breath. It's going to take you a long time, if you ever come around to the truth, that you do need a soulmate in your life. You can lie to yourself all you want till the cows come home, but I'm going to tell you something. The cows will never come home. But you'll end up on that deathbed in 100% regret. I can promise you that. So, yeah, men used to be universally seen as having a duty to be the primary earners and financial providers for their families. That system worked. But even back then, it was broken because men were working way too many hours, working way too hard. So by the time they got home, they barely had any time to spend with their family. And then the kids have stupid homework and projects and quizzes and tests to prepare for. This is how they destroyed the family unit, people. Governments. Yeah, I blame governments because, okay, democracy seems to be working, but how can we improve things? Why don't we lessen the burden of school? Just teach the kids the most important stuff. Stop giving them all these difficult tests. Let them prove themselves in school, how much they're learning. And then, by the time they get real jobs, that's going to be the real test. Because it doesn't matter if you get all A's in school. How well are you going to do into your job? It has nothing to do with the future job. And if it does, then send them to trade school. We should have trade schools instead of general school for everybody. There's so much waste and so much just ridiculous systems in place that don't work. And yet, people just continue to just accept it. And then it affects the family. Then it affects future relationships. Hence the reason why I'm doing this. You're trying to desperately remind people to maybe things are a little bit backwards and twisted, don't you think? It's not that we have to go back to the good old days, the black and white days, because that was still a flawed system. As I just said, it was too much of a burden on the stay-at-home mother. There should be a father and mother at home as much as possible. Work, people should work, I think, in my humble opinion, maybe 3 hours a day. Intense work, you know what I'm saying? Like really give it your all. Or 6 hours a day maximum, but not all day, all the way until, my father used to come home late at night and I don't even know what his first name is, I don't even know my father, and my father was never around. Wow, that seems like we need to fix that, right? The economy's not perfect. Why so much poverty? It's always been a problem in societies. And jobs, there should be a lot more, higher opportunity jobs, not all these slave labor like jobs. I can go on forever about this, but has everything to do with the whole gender roles, and because it's all the mentality that's corrupt. It's all chaotic. But, let's go ahead and move on here. What a mess. That's all I have to say about it. What a mess. There's nothing wrong with this classic model of gender norms. However, the last thing anyone needs is a passive, emotionally out of control partner by their side. Also, dual income couples is more difficult to manage. The modern day relationship, dual income relationships, right? If you choose to have kids, or if you don't have kids, you both go to work, you both come home. Now there's barely any time to even build love between man and woman, men and women. So, both partners in the relationship, you guys go out to work, you guys come back exhausted. Where's the time? Like I said, too many hours of work, and then when you toss kids into the mix, now it's even more stressful. And then friends and family and colleagues and, get-togethers, anniversaries and business meetings, and you know how much chaos there can be? And then you expect for everything to just be fine. The kids are going to just raise themselves, and you guys are going to have the perfect relationship without even working on anything. No time, no energy. These are the challenges. This is why so many people are so passive and so numb, so apathetic, so unwilling to even try to improve their families or relationships. That's why there is a lot of passive people like, oh yeah, right. Yeah, love doesn't exist. Because you don't even know what love is. You don't even have the time or energy to even discover it. You guys need to fix this stuff. How? That's up to you guys. Make it work. Do something about it. Because you chose to have a relationship, a lifelong relationship. You chose to have kids. Nobody else is going to fix it for you. Gender norms. Gender norms are socially and culturally mediated principles that govern the expected behavior of, expected should be used very lightly there. Behavior of women, men, girls, and boys in society. The European Institute for Gender Equality defines gender norms below. Gender norms are ideas about how women and men should be and act. Well, to each their own, but generally speaking, you don't want men acting like women and women acting like men. It doesn't look natural. It looks ridiculous. Internalized early in life, gender norms can establish a life cycle of gender socialization and stereotyping. Okay, so examples and stereotypes. Number 1, men are defenders. Well, women can be defenders too. But I understand what they're saying. I mean, these are stereotypes, right? So yeah, I agree. Men, and for the most part, we can defend the household, but women should know how to defend too, especially if you're parents. But you guys have to be the dynamic duo. So whether it involves firearms or fisticuffs, fighting each other, martial arts. That's why I always promote martial arts, because if it comes down to it, you got to protect your home, protect your kids, protect each other. Men are breadwinners. Well, nowadays women could be breadwinners too. We're no longer in the black and white days. However, as I said before, so much time and energy spent breadwinning. Where's the time and effort for each other as a relationship, as a couple, and also for the kids as a family? This is why we have so many problems, the number of problems we have today. Number 3, men are leaders. Well, women need to be leaders too. So yeah, definitely agree with that. Even the kids, they have to grow up to be future leaders. So you have to groom them. You have to teach them wisdom and intelligence. It's really pretty much missing for the most part. I can see the results once they become men and women. There's so much immaturity. There's so much laziness and weakness out there, mentally and emotionally, and even physically. Number 4, women are passive. Well, men could be passive too. It's a really horrible negative trait to have. Passiveness. Like, oh, whatever, I don't care. Or who cares? Like, who wants to even be with something like that? That's absolutely pathetic. That type of mentality, like, whatever, I don't care. Yawn. Number 5, women are emotional. No, men are emotional too. I've seen men just as emotional as women. But emotion, energy, and motion is nothing to be ashamed about. Unless you're a man trying to act like a woman and a woman trying to act like a man, then yeah, you should be ashamed, because that's just anti-nature. That's unnatural. So number 6, women are followers. No, men are followers too. That's what the army is. Men following men. And now women following men and men following women. It depends. There's female officers. There's male officers. Sergeants. Male and female. So, thank goodness. I actually support women in the military. 100%. Now they know how to become leaders. Hopefully they don't get this idea that, oh, let's act like men and be men at home too. No. You still have to maintain your femininity. You see, that's the difficult part with females in the military. They forget that they're still female, that men need that at home. Because if you have, for example, a man in the military and a woman in the military, and they're both in a relationship, now they both go back home acting like men, it's not going to work. And then who gives the orders around? No. That's not a couple. That's not a healthy couple. That's a toxic couple. And then as soon as you introduce kids into that scenario, now it's a toxic family. A toxic family where both parents are trying to be the man in the household. That is just so unnatural and pathetic. That seriously, this is how problems happen, people. It's not that there's supposed to be a man of the household. No, there's a man and woman of the household working together as a team. It's not that the man calls the shots or the woman calls the shots. You both call the shots. It's a 50-50 partnership. How difficult is that to understand? But as I said, dual income couples are difficult to manage for that reason alone. How are you supposed to grow a family and grow your relationship if you both aren't there most of the time? So time is the real money here, is the real value. What you should really be focused on if you want to be in a relationship long term, and especially if you want a family, then that means time really is money. So find a way to still pay the bills, but time is going to be the real gold here. It's extremely important for men to behave like men, as I said, and women to behave like women. Also, men and women do naturally have certain roles in the family. A father can never be a mother, and a mother can never be a father. So let's look at more stereotypes, gender stereotypes. Personality. Assuming men or women would have a certain personality, well, a positive one. Not a certain one, but a positive one. How about that? Domestic life. Assuming men and women would have certain roles in the family. They do. I expect a mother to be a mother and a father to be a father. There's certain things that both of them should be naturally gifted at, which we'll go a bit over in a future moment here, in a later moment here. Assuming men are better at some professions and women are better at others. Well, it's true. Because I don't see women, ideal for oil rigging. One of the most dangerous jobs out there that crazy men, in my opinion, I wouldn't do it. Just because I'm a man doesn't mean that I'm fit to do it. If I was forced to do it, if I had to do it, I guess I have to do it. There's so many dangerous professions that I really don't think a woman would be fit for. Sorry. I would cringe my teeth to see women do these very dangerous jobs. No, thank you. No, thank you. And the way I see it is that women are more valuable than men because they're the ones that are going to have the babies, the future generations, right? So men are a little bit more expendable in that sense. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if jobs like that are going to exist, let the guys do it. That way there's no heavy loss because you're the birth giver, right? This is natural, a natural instinct. That's why we save women and children. Save the children because they're the future. Save the women because they're the ones who are going to give birth to future children. It's a natural instinct. So why don't you let the men do all the insane jobs out there? Why do you have to feel the need to prove yourself? Oh, I can do the same thing because I'm a woman with an attitude problem. Nobody's asking you to do it to prove anything. The only thing you have to do is prove things to yourself. But that's not the way. By doing things that men are better at, just let the men handle it. And the same thing with men. Trying to be a mother. Men need mothers. Try being a single father, a single parent as a father. Now you have to do everything that a mother was expected to do. And then the children are going to be like, wait, you're not my mother, you're my father. So it's broken. And you have to do your best possible to explain to that child or children, look, mom's not around anymore, or, we divorced. Great. Now you're going to have it that much worse. But hey, if it was a needed divorce, I understand. But guess what? Even if the mother guarantee that those children are going to grow up honorable, grateful, productive members of society, there's no guarantee. I'm sorry to break it down to you. Even if you have the best parents possible, there's still no guarantee. That's why I myself choose to not have children. Because in today's chaotic world of insanity, that's my choice. I have the freedom to choose. Because bringing kids into this world at this point, unless I see the world get any better drastically, maybe I'll consider it. But until then, this is why we have the world we have. But for those who choose to have children, yes, sorry, you have it really tough these days. So there's no room for all these negative attitudes and foolish behavior. There really isn't. So yes, we do need a mother at home. We need a father at home if kids are involved. All right. So let's go ahead and look at it further. Assuming men and women should dress in certain ways. Yeah, I don't want to see a father in a dress and a mother in a suit and tie. I mean, they have women's business outfits, but I mean, you know what I mean. Dressing like a man. It makes absolutely no sense. It's crooked, it's backward, and even animals would laugh at us if they knew what was going on. Oh, my goodness. Stereotypes about women. Women should be caregivers. As mothers, yes. Women should be passive. No, nobody should be a quitter. Women are weak. I don't know where women are weak comes from. Women should be strong just as men. And there's a lot of weak men out there. No, both of them should be strong. Both of them should be emotional, but not too emotional to the point where it's detrimental to one's own health or the relationship or the family itself. So yeah, okay. They're not necessarily stereotypes. That's more like a weakness. Stereotypes about men. Men are unemotional. Well, a lot of them are. A lot of them are, troubled, mentally and emotionally disturbed. It's a sad fact, but men are natural leaders. Well, women should be natural leaders. A real woman and a real man, they're natural leaders. But the problem is weakness out there. Men are good at math. Who cares about math? Boys will be boys. Well, women will be women. Girls will be girls. Men are doctors and women are nurses. Oh, we'll go over that. Oh my goodness. Maybe for the most part, but it's absolutely okay for females to be doctors and males to be nurses. There's nothing wrong with that. At all. Okay, so let me see here. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Okay, so women should be assertive, have physical strength, and be able to be independent if needed. Regardless of who's the man or woman, the only main focus, should be on building a perfect, flawless relationship. So let's look at masculinity versus femininity because we're really going to just go over this. It's crazy. Masculinity refers to a set of cultural and social norms associated with characteristics typically attributed to men, such as physical strength, assertiveness, and independence. It often encompasses traits like competitiveness, emotional stoicism, and a focus on career success. I mean, that's still nothing that a female can possess. Now this is where it becomes troublesome. Because these slides here are actually stated as fact. And that's where I disagree. And you'll see why. Femininity. Okay, femininity refers to a set of cultural and social norms associated with characteristics typically attributed to women, such as nurturing, empathy, and gracefulness. It often includes qualities like emotional intelligence, cooperative behavior, and an emphasis on interpersonal relationships. Men could do that too. I consider myself graceful, nurturing, and empathetic. I'm not a woman. I'm cooperative. I have emotional intelligence and emphasis on interpersonal relationships. What do you think I'm doing here right now? Working on bringing people together through the power of wisdom and intelligence. I'm not a female. See, that's when these things become problematic, when people out there preach this stuff. Oh, this is masculine, this is feminine. Well, certain obvious things are, but not these things, these characteristics. Highly debatable. So, we're going to be going over that, and of course that doctor and nurse part. Don't forget that. That's coming right up ahead. All right, so alpha male versus sigma male. This really gets my blood boiling sometimes, but not anymore. But it did. I was like, this is so stupid. I have to use that word. How about ending the ridiculous competition by taking everything good from being an alpha and sigma male in order to create the ultimate male, a single category that every male should aspire to be? All this does is cause division and separation here. This whole alpha, beta, sigma. What is this, a video game? A ranking game? Now, what I mean by perfect soulmates is a goal. This isn't a goal. These are just like the characteristics that both males and females can possess. And they're doing it here too, which is why I'm bringing it up. All right, let's see what they say an alpha male is. A dominant man. What do you mean by dominant? You gotta beat everybody up and kill everybody and be the winner, the sole winner, like UFC style, like an amphitheater gladiator. I mean, what are we talking about dominant? Not letting other people talk? I mean, if they deserve it, sure. But I mean, I'm talking about just in general. Maybe not even letting your spouse talk. You know, that's more important right there. Dominant? What do you mean? Is this like an arm wrestling match? It's just so ridiculous. A man that assumes a dominant... There we go again. A dominant, that just means like a controlling role. What do you mean? Control or manipulation or both? In social or professional situations. No, how about strong leadership role? How about that? Because leadership is all-encompassing. You need followers who follow the leader. And you should have empathy towards those who follow you. Because guess what? If something happens to the leader, then now you're the weakest link in the chain and somebody else has to pick up the slack. So if you're going to be dominant, what happens when you lose your dominant piece? Game over. Because the whole rest of the link is going to fail. The chain. Think about it. Outgoing and loud. Outgoing and loud. I mean, it depends what you mean by loud. If you mean vibrant and excited, then you're going to naturally be loud. There's nothing to be ashamed of. You know, the whole man of few words nonsense. Oh, if you want to be a wise guy, you can't be too loud. That's just garbage. That means that guy's not alive. You ever heard of shouting and climaxing and just yelling because you're so happy? When you celebrate, you get loud. Look at Jennifer Lopez. She has a song, Let's Get Loud. We're going to tell her that she's wrong? Everybody agrees with her, obviously. I agree with her. There's a time to be loud. And then there's a time to be outgoing. Yeah, introverted behavior is abnormal. I mean, that just means you're shy. That you don't trust others. Those are bad qualities. It's weakness. Lead others using their dominating nature and physical prowess. There you go. Why couldn't we just say that and leave the domination behind? You could have just said have leadership qualities, but you're separating it here. You're separating it. We'll take a look on the Sigma male side really shortly here. At the top of the social hierarchy. This is just, what is this, caveman behavior? My stick's bigger than your stick. I got a big club. I'm going to bop you on the head. Oh, I just dominated you. I'm at the top of the social hierarchy. What world are you living in? What kind of hallucinations are you in? I mean, what kind of virtual reality are you living in? What social hierarchy? Where everybody looks up to you because you're being dominating? You know what? Like, no, a real champion is a considerate human being, I would say. That's a real champion. No domination. Somebody that can work with anybody. An easygoing person. Somebody who's loud because they're proud and they're exciting. They're passionate. Key word there. Conform to the expectations of society. I don't think you should conform to such things. So if they want you to be weak and docile, you should say, oh yeah, okay. No, don't be weak and docile if that's what society expects you to be. Actually, that's what they expect you to be these days. To not tell the truth about certain things, your truth, what you think is the truth. We live in the era of censorship galore. Even certain YouTube comments, if you type it in, it'll disappear because YouTube doesn't like what you're saying. Yeah, censorship. Welcome to the world that we live in. Nobody's really noticing this. It's kind of sad. Let's move on to Sigma male. A Sigma male is a dominant man. Okay, so what's the difference? It's the same thing. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the rest of the 75% of the chart. Introverts and loners by nature. That's a negative quality, and Sigma is supposed to be better than Alpha? Or share the same place in the hierarchy? A loner, an introvert? No, that reminds me of the song that, what is it? I'm a freak. Oh my goodness, man. This is just, what is so Sigma about that? Keeping things to yourself, not being passionate and expressive. This is anti-human behavior. A loner. Lead without exerting authority. Well, I mean, there's certain times where you have to exert authority. If you have to. If it's an authoritarian role. Other times, you can lead without the authoritarian attitude. It just depends on the certain scenario. In an emergency situation, yes, you have to say, I'm in charge of security here. Everybody must do as I say if you want to survive, right? Of course you're free to do whatever you want, but the chances of survival go down, right? Because that guy's trained to lead you the way out to safety. I think you should follow his authority. Or in a personal business, if you don't follow somebody's authority to say, please exit the building, you're no longer welcome here. Well, it's a private business, right? They can do that. But if you don't respect that, now you're going to get problems with the law, right? There's nothing wrong with it being it's just injustice. If you're unjust with that authority, then now we have a problem. Stay outside the social hierarchy by choice. There is no social hierarchy. That's all in the mind. That's like egotistical behavior. There is no social hierarchy. That's all in the mind, okay? This is so ridiculous. This is like a fifth grader wrote this. Do not conform to the expectations of society. It just depends. Once again, it depends whether you conform or not conform. It just depends. An injustice, right? But like I said, why don't we just combine it all? Isn't that so much more like intelligent? Oh my goodness. All right, what do we have here? Gender roles then and now. I am not going to be reading all this. Let's just go ahead and pick a few. You are expected to be the leader of the family in the 1950s. 1960s. Since more ladies started working, you can now have an emotional connection with your kids and actually get to know them better. Yeah, but now your relationship suffers because now both of you are away, like I said before. It's not like one solution fix all. I mean, it's just no, it's broken. Either way, it's how much time is being spent away from the family and within the relationship. That's the problem. The quality as well diminishes greatly. 70s. Now that there's a rise in female employment, you boys will end up losing a job if you can't prove you have the skills for it. No idea where they're going there. This is just... You're supposed to be assertive, savvy, and or objective. It tends to come in handy when you're a fit young man who's forced to to participate in wars you're not a part of. Well, that's just the evil from governments, the whole draft situation, the Vietnam War. Absolutely. That's just, well, there's nothing you can really do about that. That's just pretty much, that was a communist move right there. Forcing people to go fight for something like that. You're not expected to be the epitome of masculinity or to have a job or have your own saplings. Staying at home to clean house while wifey brings the bacon is a pretty okay deal for you. Well, there's a lot of different situations in this horrible economy worldwide, by the way. It's not just the US. So, females, let's look at the last part here. You can both think and stand up for yourself. If the job does not require you to have male genitalia, you will do it if possible. This is a very immature way of writing here. I'm not going to take this chart really seriously. Let's go back to the 50s for the females, just for kicks. You are more opinionated and now have the right to work for yourself. Some would, alas, think that's the road to being a spinster. You know what? This is a horrible chart, and that's why I'm pointing it out. So, let's see here. Gender roles should look and feel natural. Both men and women should know how to cook and clean. How about that? Men and women should both be able to find employment in order to support each other and be perfect partners as well. But as I said, these are the challenges. The challenge is paying the bills and finding a way. That's why I said time is money. Time's the real money here. Not necessarily how much you earn or it's money and fame. No. I mean, if you want a real relationship, the most priceless thing in this world, the most powerful thing in this world, true love, you need a lot of time to build that. But if it's not something you want, then misery awaits you. What can I say? Go ahead and keep overworking and having the dual working situation to oblivion and beyond until you guys are just too old to even try to. Once you guys retire, oh, now we're back together again. Oh, too little, too late. So yeah, the balance is everything in life. Make it work one way or another. All right. So here's another example of simply taking the best from both sides, which is what I'm going to do, and making sure that both men and women possess everything positive and powerful from both sides. Then there would be no more weakness. So let's go over this chart here. Women versus men in athletics and competition. Oh boy. Males tend to understand and process things by building systems to explain their purpose in doing something. I'm a male. What the heck are you talking about? Are you talking about like strategies and plans? Like that's something that females can do too. Females tend to like to understand why they are performing certain tasks. Me too. And what they are achieving by doing so. Me too. All right, so both of them apply to me. Women's bodies are less muscular, but their joints are more flexible, which gives them greater range of motion. I mean, that's something biological. Testosterone enables men to develop larger skeletal muscles as well as larger hearts. Okay. As far as athletic performance, I mean, there's great tennis players, both male and female. I don't know if you were to have a battle of the sexes, I don't know who would win. Boys are very competitive and act on gut reactions. So can a woman. So the technical aspect of a sport can be hard to teach. I mean, so you're just insulting the intelligence of women? Oh, you wouldn't get it. Honey, it's too complicated. Females are good technical athletes. Well, if they're good technical athletes, then they'll understand your technical aspect of a sport. What? Contradiction galore. But may tend to lack the competitive edge or the fire in your belly. What the hell are you talking about? Fire in your belly? I think a lot of female athletes have a lot. Look at those CrossFit competitors. That's a lot of fire, not just in their belly. They got it in their heart, their mind. I mean, just throughout their entire body. That's a lot of fire going on. Their legs, their arms, their back, their chest, their abdominals, their glutes. I mean, these are powerful women we're talking about. And then you compare that to the average male. I mean, they would dominate that male. Literally tear them to shreds if they had to. There are very strong female athletes out there. Do not get it twisted. This is a stereotype being pushed as fact. Women tend to match the strength of men more closely in lower body. No. If you take G.I. Jane with Couch Potato over here, male Couch Potato, I'm pretty sure G.I. Jane can outdo the Couch Potato in push-ups and pull-ups and whatever else. No, they can form very strong upper bodies, actually. And there's even female bodybuilders. I'm talking about the non-steroid ones. No PEDs, no physical enhancing drugs. No PEDs. Anyways. Jeez. Talk about stereotypes. And yet another example, we need to take the best from both sides here. Feminine energy and masculine energy. Oh my goodness. Free-flowing, full of life, energy. She is like the ocean. What are you talking about? A male should be like the ocean. You ever seen the ocean? I don't think you really know what you're talking about here. The Atlantic Ocean, you know how many killer waves there are? You know the strength, the sheer ferociousness, the danger of an ocean? You know how hard and how high those waves clash? They can sink even the toughest and biggest boats. It's possible. Go ahead and watch the videos trying to navigate through the highest dangerous ocean storms. And females are supposed to be like the ocean. I don't know. Are you talking about calm or clashing of the titans here? Oh my goodness. So let's see the masculine. Better be a tsunami, right? Full of direction and purpose, a linear and rigid energy. Why does it have to be rigid? Are you talking about focus? Direction and purpose. So you're saying females don't have direction and purpose? They're not linear? They don't have rigid energy? You just said that she has to be like the ocean. That's life energy. So, okay, life energy doesn't equate to rigid energy. This is just all... This is the nonsense that I want everybody out there to be aware of. Hence the reason I'm doing this. Feminine. Let's go back to feminine. Stimulated by praise. A lot of males, they get stimulated by praise. Especially the egotistical ones. There's nothing to be ashamed of in general. Because if you do something great and you are praised for it, then you want to do it even better, right? Stimulated by... This is how we reach perfection. Males are stimulated by challenge. That's what we're getting at here. There's females that perfect their craft or whatever it is that they're perfecting. And there's males that perfect whatever it is they're perfecting. And if they get praised for it, they want to do it even better. Or that they're proud to redo it all over again. This is natural human behavior. Strength over weakness. Feminine energy is moved by love and emotions and intimate relationship. Oh my goodness, that's 100% me, and I'm a male. I'm extremely moved by the love that I have in my life and in positive, powerful emotions in my intimate relationship. That's for females only? What kind of drugs are you doing? Masculine energy is driven by his own direction. Oh, great. Here we go with the independence nonsense. It is impersonal and goal-oriented without feeling. Without feeling? What are you, a robot? A senseless robot? Are you like a... Yeah, that's not a human being right there. Without feeling? What are you, dead? Are you a zombie? You see how ridiculous these charts are, right? But this is being pushed out there. So people identify and they say, oh, okay, I can't be this because I'm not a woman, but I can be that. So this is what they want males to... This is all brainwashing. You know, I don't know who's pushing this propaganda, but it's out there, unfortunately. This is what caused the chaotic things that we see today. About existing in the body and its sensation and feeling. So males can't do that? We don't have sensations and feelings? Are you ridiculous? Like, I mean, come on, man. Masculine energy is about transcending emotions into awareness. What does that even mean? Are you talking about wisdom? That's a lot of word salad right there. I mean, if that's what you're desperately trying to describe, well, there's wise females and there's wise males. I would hope that in a couple, both of them are wise. Females make small things big. Well, sometimes the devil's in the details. You have to look at the details. Oh, so males don't pay attention to details? I beg to differ. There's a lot of male electricians out there and male engineers of all kinds. What are you talking about? You have to, I mean, if you're talking about a situation such, no, sometimes the smallest things are the biggest things. What is it called? Omega iota. I mean, it's just, or whatever it's called. It's like you have to focus on the small part because that's what you're missing. You're glossing over it. Makes big things small. That's what males do, make big things small. That's kind of a reverse, that's even a bad pun, too. Big things small. You mean like a big situation, it's not a big deal, or try to solve a problem solving perhaps? See, this is horrible right here. Because women are good problem solvers too. That all depends on the individual, regardless of gender. Women hang on to everything. Well, yeah, the mind is never going to forget, so the mind records everything, good and bad. You can't change that. I mean, it's good because, I mean, it's a good memory. But it's how you deal with those memories. If you want to play the victim for the rest of your life, I mean, is that what you mean? And males, for the masculine, it's easy to let go. Well, no, you don't want to be that either, because these are two extremes. These are two absolutes here. Be very careful, because letting go, what do you mean? Being passive? Not being, because hangs on to everything. So, this is why they have the stereotype that men always forget their anniversary. And that women always remember. That's nothing to be proud of. You don't honor your relationship. I mean, yeah, it is a date to remember. But, I mean, if you're so busy that you forget about it, that's understandable. But if you forget about just to forget about it, whatever. Man, I don't think you really care about your relationship as much as you claim to. And it's way beyond anniversaries. I mean, I'm talking about birthday even, or you made a promise to your wife that you were going to get together and go out at a certain time, and you just leave her hanging. You completely forget about her because you were out with the boys. Something stupid like that. It's way beyond the anniversary example. No. Easy to let go. You need to really be specific there. Feminine energy is about flow. So masculine energy is not about flow? There's no such thing as interruption. Males get interrupted all the time. What are you talking about? Masculine energy is compartmental. What? Compartmentalist? Okay, are you trying to impress somebody there? And focuses on one thing at a time. I don't think so. I'm a big multitasker. I can focus on many things at once if I have to. Or if I feel the need to. Because it's called maximum efficiency, right? If it works. But if I'm trying to bite off more than I can chew, then now it's not efficient. It's somewhat effective. But yeah, you have to let go of certain things in order to get the job done. I mean, but females can do that too. These two are just another ridiculous. This whole thing is just so ridiculous. This one especially, feminine energy, looks for love. So males don't look for love? I mean, that's everything that I'm about. That's what I'm all about. What are you talking about? Masculine looks for a problem to solve. The last thing I need are problems to solve. I solve problems because I have to. Now, if you present to me a problem through a coaching session through my Discord server, yes, I'd be honored to help you with your problem. But looking for problems to solve? No, I got better things to do. I mean, seriously. And then what? Women can't solve problems? And men don't look for love? Oh my goodness. This is really sad, people. Very sad. Alright, so. This one is something new, some type of new age nonsense right here. This whole wounded masculine and wounded feminine. How about this? Fear, unnecessary aggressiveness, manipulative behavior, desperation, sacrifice, insecurity, selfishness, passive and egotistical behavior are all examples of that which can easily destroy a relationship. How about that? Has nothing to do with the word wounded here. In fact, it's all about maturity or immaturity. Let's look at the wounded masculine. Attachment to success, fear of failure, need to be right, aggressive, cold and distant, critical and judgmental, selfish, stuck in the mind, not in touch with the emotions, defending himself and attacking. Well, it depends. I mean, do you have to defend yourself? You should always defend yourself when necessary. Wounded feminine, looking for external validation, being insecure. This can apply to males too. You see how twisted this is? Manipulative, stuck in victimhood, excessively attached. It depends. Desperate for love. That needs to really be defined there. That needs to be really described a little bit better there. Sacrificing herself, overshares her emotions. What? And has no boundaries. What? Anyways, the wounded masculine can be applied to the feminine, and the wounded feminine can be applied to the masculine. It's just strength or weakness. I mean, this can apply to anybody. And some of these are so vague, it's really pathetic. Healthy masculine, present without being distracted. What are you talking about? Non-judgmental. Well, there's a time to be judgmental. It just depends on the situation. I mean, try telling Judge Dredd that. Committed and powerful. Women should be committed and powerful. That's how you gain powers, by being committed. Deep integrity and humbleness. Women also. Focus and discipline. I hope women also. Why is it only masculine? Supportive and encouraging. I would hope that females are too. Grounded and of service. Same thing. Honest, logical, and accountable. Accountable? So women aren't accountable? Are you kidding me? And they're not honest, they're not logical? You see how stupid these things are? And people follow this garbage. Healthy feminine. Strong and has boundaries. It depends. I mean, if you have boundaries, you're kind of protecting something, right? And if you're protecting something that should be shared with your partner, then you're not demonstrating strength. You're not being honest. It's very vague here. Loving and supportive. Men are loving and supportive. Vulnerable, compassionate, and athletic. So men are not athletic all of a sudden? They're not vulnerable and compassionate? When you're in love, you are. Receptive and confident in her body. Intuitive and creative. Asks for what she needs. Enjoying the process of creation. Okay. I'm creating 100 live streams total for free. And I already created 2 masterpieces for sale. I enjoyed it quite a bit. And I still enjoy it to this day. I'm not a female. Able to relate to others by listening. I wouldn't have this job if I didn't know how to listen. Sharing and creating a community. And I'm creating a community as well. But what? Healthy feminine. This is all nonsense. This whole thing. It's just, but this is what people push out there, people. This is exactly why I'm showing you all this. People are just like, oh, this is such a good chart. You don't even know what you're reading. You don't even know what you think you've learned. And then they go out there and try to preach it, and like they get things even. You ever play the game Telephone? It just gets worse and worse, and it just goes from bad to worse and to ugly. This is the problem with most men and women today. They choose to play the victim and adopt weak, lazy, passive, unintelligent personalities instead of becoming the best they can be with positive, ambitious attitudes. Feminine energy, once again, in charge of her inner world, cultivating the desired feelings, not waiting or searching outside for herself. Oh, outside of herself, but creating, receiving inspiration and embodying, doing her part, connected to her. Look at all this drivel. Just slobbering all over this. Connected to her body and emotions, aware of her worth, cultivating inner safety and security, allows her to trust and let go of control, trust herself and trust the masculine. That's feminine energy? That's garbage. That doesn't even make a decent Hallmark card. What are you supposed to extract from that nonsense? Let's go to the masculine, please, please. Please share your wisdom. Patient, grounded, stable energy, and loving. You just said that wasn't masculine. That was feminine in the previous slide. That men are not loving. Okay. Disciplined, supportive, doing your best, no matter what the result will be, and acknowledging that your best will be different every time. Creating space for resistance to be healed. What are you even talking about? Protection, leaving situations where you have to compromise your integrity. What? Mental or emotional well-being, giving energy. How are you giving energy when you're compromising? Oh, well, your emotional well-being, giving energy. Like what? That's wow. So many adjectives. You know, this is absolutely just doesn't even belong in any school and any nothing. Absolutely useless and very sad for the sake of humanity that stuff like this exists. Look, there's even a book, Feminine versus Masculine, how you can harmonize them together in your life today. That's a book that I don't want to read. Wow, talk about future division, further division. You know, gender stereotypes form foolish, immature division between males and females, consequently affecting the quality of relationships and parenting even. Ambiguous, ignorant future generations. That's what I had to say about all this. Let's look more about the feminine energies and the ways to balance excess feminine energies. Excess? So you can have too much femininity? Oh my goodness, imagine that, people. You can have too much feminine energy. Softness, devotion, nurturing, support, feeling. So men don't have feeling. Wow. Fluidity, empathy, rest, pleasure. So men can't experience pleasure. Wow. Intuition. So men are stupid. Compassion, creativity, receptivity, flow, adaptability. Well, you can't be an engineer if you don't have receptibility or creativity. Adaptability, affection, vulnerability, openness. Boundaries, learn to say no. Listen, offer support and safety to others. Look at all this jargon. Try a competitive task. Take responsibility for yourself. Take masculine inspired actions on what excites you. Be assertive and decisive. Honor your self-confidence. So all that is feminine. Wow. How stupid. Masculine energies. Honor, power, confidence, efficiency, intellectual. Action, freedom, direction, reasoning, analyzing, focus, strength, leadership, logic, productivity, accomplishment. So women don't accomplish anything. They lack logic, leadership, strength, and focus. This is really offensive. From a male and female perspective, it's very offensive. Talk about stereotypes. And this is off of a book. This whole book is going to be offensive. Talk about dumbing you down if you believe in this garbage. You want to be stupefied? You want to be dumbed down? Go ahead and check that book out. 7 ways to balance and excess masculine energies. Honor your rest. Listen to your body's energetic wisdom. Movement. Spend time with children. So I guess, screw females. They don't spend time with children. Wow. So much for the mothers, right? Pick up gardening. Oh, wait a minute. So females don't garden. Or raising a pet. Honor moments for creativity. Be open to express your vulnerabilities. Excess masculine energies. That sounds like excess feminine energies if you're going to say that. Gardening, usually females do that. Raising pets. Vulnerabilities. I mean, you see how ridiculous all of this is. Anyways, oh my goodness. Yeah, this is going to equate to weaker, ambiguous, ignorant future generations for sure. What a shame. Feminine versus masculine. Nurturing, empathetic, intuitive, patient, collaborative. Sensitive, receptive, expressive. Anyways, all of these is what both of you should have, both men and women. I'm not even going to read it. If men and women are nothing but this and that, then we are all collectively failing. We will all collectively fail to acquire wisdom, intelligence, and mastery of becoming the best human beings possible. Because such ignorance destroys all kinds of opportunities. This is just pure ignorance. Look at this. Feminine versus masculine. No. These are human qualities that everyone should have, regardless if you're a male or female. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at that doctor and nurse part that we saw earlier. You would think that doctors is a male-dominated profession. Yes, females make up almost half of all doctors across the world. Take a look at the chart. But even if it's not exactly half, it doesn't matter. What matters is allowing both the opportunity. So Latvia, 74%. Oh, wow. Okay. Estonia, 73%. These percentages could be off. But generally speaking, okay, we have male and female doctors. Why does it have to be a contest? Why? Think about it. And that's precisely in my movie, my 1-hour video course. The last chapter, one of the last chapters is the gender war. This is what fuels that gender war. Saying that no, like I said before, unless it's a dangerous job, women, sit back and relax. Just let the males do it. Okay? Because you are more valuable. It's just natural. Because you're the baby producer, ultimately. Hence the womb. We need you. You're more valuable, right? It's not that men are expendable. It just means that why make a bad situation worse, right? The bad situation is somebody's got to do it. So I'm not going to put a child to do the job. On the next category, I'm not going to put a woman to do the job. That's why they say women and children. Because they're more valuable. Let the man do it. Because there's crazy men out there. Not me. I'm not going to do it. I mean, I was a soldier. That was the most danger I've ever been in. Because I could have came home in a body bag or in pieces. But you don't see me all freaked out about it. I mean, I just did what I had to do. Driving down the roads of Iraq, waiting for the IED or EFP to go off. Luckily, I'm here and I'm giving lessons to the rest of the world to benefit from. So luckily I didn't lose my life in my deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan. I'm very grateful that I'm still here. But what I'm not grateful of is these stupid wars at home. The gender war. The ignorance. Just people, the lack of wisdom, lack of intelligence, the zoo, the circus. So here you go. Doctors, right? As long as we both have an opportunity. But like I said, dangerous jobs, women, kids, leave it to the men. There's crazies that'll do those jobs. All right. So nurses. Percent of male registered nurses in the U.S. through the years. Just the U.S. Let's take a look. Above 2020. Here's another example of what many think of nurses as a female profession. It used to be mainly dominated. Now today, there are more male nurses than ever before. The same applies to female soldiers in the military. We all need to be warriors, whether you're a soldier or not. How about that? How about them apples? But yes, I'm very happy to see females in the military because, yes, they can do it. They can do that job that long in the battlefield. You do have to have endurance, so I'd encourage more CrossFit activities. The whole PT program, physical fitness training program, is completely on its head. It needs to be completely just overhauled. We need to do more training with our equipment, full loaded equipment, rifles and everything. That should be the PT test, physical fitness test. But I already had a video I made a video on 5 ways that the Army needs to change, but to each their own. Okay, so last part of the presentation here. What truly matters is that both men and women focus on maturity, as I said before. along with physical, mental, and emotional strength. Not differences, not this versus that. This will ensure that every couple becomes perfect soulmates and perfect parents if they choose to have kids. Okay, so look at this. Look at this nonsense. One last nonsense slide here. Differences between men and women. Men have larger hearts and lungs than women. Men are more muscular. I disagree. There are some toothpicks out there and really strong women who have way more muscle. Men tend to have a better sense of direction. What an offense to women. Men usually go from bottom to up. What does that mean? You're talking about... Let's see. Most women get dressed from top to bottom. This makes absolutely no sense. Both of these. Male puberty comes years later. Then who cares when puberty comes? That doesn't guarantee how mature a person's going to be. Men handle sleep deprivation better than women. I disagree. There's a lot of midnight owls out there. Women. They can do night shifts. Men are not as sensitive to smell as women. I disagree. I have a great, fantastic sense of smell. There's things that I smell and I ask a woman and they're like, "Oh, no, I've done that. I've done that." They're like, "I don't smell," and I'm like, "Well, and hearing too. I have excellent hearing ability." And then they're like, "How did you hear that?" They always ask me, "How did you hear that?" And I'm like, "Well, I think I inherited it from my father actually, because I noticed that when I was a kid, he had a really good sense of hearing. This is all genetic, I believe. If anything, it depends. I mean, if you experience any hearing loss for whatever reason, or maybe you're just not really good with the ears or the eyes, looking at details. All right. So women have larger kidney. Who cares? Women are better at multitasking. I disagree. There is no better. To each their own. It's like saying this martial art is better than that other martial art. No, they're both strong. And anybody could win. It depends on the practitioner. Most women that's stupid. Puberty. Women do not relatively show good results when deprived. I disagree. Women have a better sense of smell. No, I disagree. You see how much nonsense is in here? So, okay, this is what it boils down to, people. If you want to have a perfect soulmate relationship, which is the maximum level of love, you must acknowledge the fact that men need women just as much as women need men. Respect each other and work as a team. That's what it boils down to. All right, so let me go ahead and see if there's any questions out there, and if not, time to go bye-bye. Oh boy, I tell you, what a crazy world we live in with so much division, as if we need any further division, people. I can tell you. The answer is no, we don't need any further division. Alright, so welcome C4 to the chat here. Let's see, I was lucky enough to catch the whole episode, and I agree wholeheartedly with what you said. Thank you for doing your shows. Hey, thank you, C4. I always appreciate your kind words. We need some more C4s out there. A truly explosive atmosphere. What a final fanfare. Thank you so much, C4, for your contribution to not just this stream, to the rest of the world, whoever's watching post-stream. So that's all I have for you guys today, and expect another show as we finish off this series, Versus. Remember, this is a complete overhaul, so we're almost there, almost to the goal. So this has been episode 4 of the Versus series, and I wish everybody a happy middle of the week coming right up. Don't be so desperate to finish off your work weeks. Just be calm, cool, collective, understanding, and work on your wisdom and intelligence. Work on your physical strength. You know what to do. And I will talk to you again very soon. Thank you so much for listening. Much love.